Hello, I am Nur Ishira binti Shahruddin. I am with my partner today, Nur Adriana Shamimi binti Suhaimi. Today we are going to share with you guys this one short film titled Across Grace Alley, directed by a well-known American director and producer named Ralph Macchio. Cross Grace Alley has won a few awards, including Jury Award for Best Drama Short Film category in Short American Film Awards 2014. This short film highlights the life struggle of this one young boy who is facing an emotional damage after his parents' divorce and tries to seek the true meaning of his life experience.
My grandson's here. It's so upsetting. My son's getting divorced.
How long have you been watching me?
Just like once, maybe twice.
Well, how is that going to solve anything? No, now you listen.
So, let me brief a little bit about how this film begins. The film begins with the main character, this young boy who is playing with his father at the house lawn. His face shows the feeling of sadness and the misery he had in his life. Both father and his child then meets the grandmother and they discuss about the boy. The boy mentions that he hates his struggling situation right now where he needs to endure a painful experience of being a child to a divorced parents.
Hi, my name is Adriana Shamim binti Suhaimi. So we'll talk about discovering the behavior of a child from divorced parents in Across Grace Alley. Having a happy family is everyone's dream. We believe lots of us have been wondering how the fate of their children after their divorces. Will they understand why their parents decided to do so? Will having a divorced parents will affect their mental health? So, yes, I believe that we have lots of questions that bear in our mind. Some observations and speculations have been made through the film, and this paper will discover profoundly about how a child is struggling mentally with his life after his parents' divorce and how his journey throughout to find his wisdom. Generally, it is a fact that all children need to be given full and enough support, love, care, and attention from the elders for the sake of their mental health. In this short film, there's a dialogue where the boy responses and interacts to his father shows how much he hates his situation right now for being a child from divorced parents. As a young kid, this kind of dreadful situation is really torturing for them. They should not experience nor deal with the moments where he cannot have a perfect family. We can see the feeling of misery when his face changes after he mentions that he doesn't want to cope with the situation anymore. Plus, when he mentions that his grandmother is always busy, it shows that he really needs the attention from his family. We understand that during that age, children really wants to be loved and be given a good attention for the sake of their better life.
My son's getting divorced. Well, maybe next week then? Thank you. Good night.
Life, we tended to feel giving up on something that we hope the best for our future. We can see that during the scene where the boy enters his room while his grandmother is talking about his divorced parents. He sees there is a picture frame of his parents and he takes down the picture sorrowfully. This leads us to believe that the heavy and dreadful feelings he has in his heart where he may lose hope for his parents. The moment he puts down the picture frame shows that he is no longer hope nor believe that there will be miracle happens between his parents. This scene also represents the feeling of loneliness of how a child feel, which they could not describe or tell the word how they feel. At this point, we agree that the reason he puts down the picture frame of his parents shows that he is protesting the difficulty of how his situation in this life. I believe all of us our own ways to cope with the hard and the struggling situations. In this film, it portrays the life about the little boy and his caretaker, which is his grandmother. The scene where the boy is having his meal at the dining room while his grandmother is asking about his piano lesson actually is highlighting the clue for this film. The boy mentions that he stopped his lesson because he hates it, and he mentions that the piano lesson is boring. So, when the grandmother hears it, she then denies the fact that music is a good medicine for him. At this point, I believe most of us is wondering what the grandmother means that music is a good medicine. Does music can heal someone's life? Why does the grandmother is not happy when the boy stops his piano lesson? Bear in mind that his grandmother is a music educator. We believe that she has a true meaning based on her words. She may want her grandson to find his life wisdom through music, which she may hope that her grandson will understand his parents' condition through music. But there must be a reason why it happens. We strongly believe that the grandmother's line is actually giving hints to the boy that his life wisdom will be found through the music.
How are you coming with your piano? When was your last lesson?
It stopped. It's boring.
No.
Eventually, he found the life wisdom. Guys, kids do follow their parents' lead in happiness as parents or adults play a significant role for their children. The way they live their life contributes huge impacts on their children as children view their parents as the main source of their happiness. In this film, the young boy is so upset with his life where his parents are part away. His soul needs an answer to what's happening as he could not accept the fact he is facing at the moment because he is just a kid. Guys, we can take a look at the scene where he took his grandmother's word seriously as his grandmother once says to him, "No matter what you are handled, whatever hardships or bad things happen, you have the power to achieve happiness and inspire." The young boy takes quite a time to finally understand the meaning of this piece of advice given by his grandmother, where he finds that music and dancing are boring at first, but soon as he sees the dancing woman, he finds that music and the dancing are amusing. In addition, he sees his mother in that woman. The sadness, the desperation, the loneliness, the same thing happened to his mother. That is why he keeps on watching the woman across the streets who passionately dance. As we all know, kids and their curiosity has no end. Kids will keep questioning until they satisfied with the answer. By repeatedly observing the woman from a distance, questioning and learning, the young boy tries to imply his grandmother's advices. The young woman who lived across the street was the closest example he could find that are so relatable with his life. The more he observes, the more he becomes curious. Hence, try to look at the scene when the woman starts approaching the boy to prove her point that you could dance with anybody despite the size of the body. Without hesitation, the boy suddenly takes a step running towards that woman's house after listening to the conversation made by the woman to her friends. She says size doesn't matter. We could see that the young boy decided to imply the lesson that he learns from his grandmother. He finds something that could maybe entertain his lonely heart. We could understand the situation that the young boy faced. When our heart is empty, filled with sadness and resentment, we tend to seek for something new. We may never have been interested in knowing, but when our hearts are empty, our heart will seek for something to fill. That's what happened to this young boy. He used his imagination to create his own happiness. Back to this film, In his imagination, he is wearing a perfect suit and meets the dancing woman in a beautiful dress and starts to dance with the song being played. Based on the facts, in the child development, it is actually a healing process where the young boy starts to use his imagination. That way, it leads to a healthier and a happier state of mind.
It makes no difference. Why light a candle?
The candle's light is supposed to guide us in darkness.
Requires something to hold on to in order to have faith in their hearts. That is when the woman in the church lit a candle. Despite her desperation in this life, she believes the candle is doing something. In fact, the lit candle signifies a light which we present our prayers to the Lord and ask the saints to pray with us and help us in our time of need. In the film, the woman hoping for a guidance from God to help her get through her hardship as well as the boy. She asks the boy to keep the candle lit. The boy asks her, "Does it help praying?" She then answers, "You have to believe it does." It shows that the woman's strong belief with her God, which proves that she has faith in the religions she professes. Having both mother and father in his life is a blessing. He's starting to accept the fact that both of his parents couldn't go back to where it was after he had the conversation with the woman he met in the church. This dialogue clearly shows that the woman wants the boy to not have a resentment towards both of his parents. It might be hard for the boy to understand at the young age. We could see the circumstance he faced taught him to think more maturely than he would have at a younger age.
As the conclusion, to sum it all up, this paper outlines that young children must receive adequate care and attention from both parents because it affects their mental health. Separation of both parents harms children's well-being because it has negative consequences for their children. The parents of this young boy break his pure hope of having a perfect family. As a result, this young boy is losing hope and interest in everything he could do in the future since he is only 10. Children tend to lose interest and get carried away by their feelings easier than adults because they cannot see the good in everything. As a young boy who is in the process of growing up, where he barely understands the meaning of this harsh life, it is surprised that he managed to overcome his pain and trauma with the beauty of music as someone proves that music does make life beautiful like his grandmother did.